I kind of wanted to ask if you want to speak anything about serendipity. I think
Yes.
in the last couple of days, just uh, noticing talking is happening, sensations are here, and the experience of time has just been really different.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you know what feels like, oh, I'm gonna go and do this. It has a different feeling, and oh no, I did that, or I don't know, the continuity feels different, and the just the word that comes to mind is has been serendipity, and yeah, whatever kind of thought
Yeah.
is here is happening, and sensations are here and happening, and presence and stillness, and wonderful meditative whatever, uh, serendipity. If anything you want to say about
Yes.
that.
First, let me talk a little bit about what you shared about time, Rishi. Um, as a separate entity, which we are not, but which we imagine ourselves to be and feel ourselves to be. Because when we imagine ourselves to be a particular person, the body sort of resonates that belief. So it is a sense of being limited, of being somebody. So from the perspective of a limited personal self, which again, as I said, doesn't exist, there is within the body the experience of being subject to conditions, subject to world events, subject to thoughts, to mind states, and subject to time. We experience within our body a certain a pressure of time. It's as if time, which is the eternal now, which is the timeless, condenses, contracts within our body as a sense of uh, being compressed or limited with the pressure of time. Such a thing as a freedom from the impression of time. So the freedom from the impression of time, it requires understanding, and of course, the understanding that is just not just mental, but also lived understanding that time appears to you as thoughts, memories, as you there's impression via thoughts that okay, yesterday I did this and that and that and that and then and now it's now. You say is via thought and memory we experience time.
And when you point at those thoughts, even if those thoughts are appearing, you talked about like not just a mental knowing of this, but like a lived, I don't know, like a belief or an investment in them can be
No,
different, right? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
just from a very practical perspective, you remember being in a retreat, yesterday. It's just that memory in itself creates the impression of time. It's time, we experience time as memory. Like you have some memories of your youth when you were a young boy. You see. That's that just that memory creates an impression of time. Now, the thing to understand about that memory and the impression of time is that appears to you. A thought appears to you, right? and the sensation that comes with the thought appears to you, right? So you are the space which, let's say, contains, well, you don't really contain it because the thought comes and goes, which you're the space within which time appears, within which a thought appears, within which memory appears. It appears like an event on the screen, right? It appears and disappears, right? You are the space, the aware space, meaning the space that perceives, right? But you do not appear. You do not appear. Now, you see, in a way you do, because when you have a memory of being in the retreat yesterday, and that memory appears, it seems to you that you are appearing, that you are appearing, and so that you actually are in time because you're appearing. But you're not appearing. The body is appearing. There is an image which is appearing. If I take a picture of you or a picture of me and I show you a picture of me, it's not me, right? It's not me. It's just a picture. So in the memory which appears to you that Rishi was in the retreat, it seems as if you're appearing and that therefore you exist in time, but that's not true. It's just an image. You are the reality which perceives the image. You see, so I take my passport and is my image. This image is appearing to me, to consciousness, to awareness, right? You are not actually, in other words, you don't exist in time. That's what I'm trying to say.
And would it be right to say that the just as the image appears or the thought or the memory appears and goes away, the sense of time that comes with that can also appear and go away?
The sense of time
As a
doesn't
thought. Oh,
doesn't appear and go away as easily as that.
That's what I'm noticing.
Because the impression remains that I exist in time, even when the image is past.
The implication is still felt.
The
implication is still
yes,
felt.
yes.
But if that momentum or that implication, I don't know, it feels like less. Right now.
The main thing is that as long as you exist on the screen, as you exist within thought, in other words, as long as you believe yourself to exist, you believe, oh, here I am, as long as you believe yourself to exist in space and time, you will experience the to various degrees. Okay, maybe it reduces at times, but overall, you will experience the unhappiness of being in time. Both in your mind gets stirred up by, do I have enough time? Am I going to get there on time? And also, more importantly, at the sensory level, at the somatic level, you will feel a certain inner pressure, the pressure of time. So the freedom from the belief that I exist in time is an important freedom, which goes hand in hand with being very clear that a thought which appears to you, which contains you, does not contain the real you. It only contains an image. I don't know if I said it clearly. If a thought that seems to refer to you doesn't truly refer or doesn't refer to the true you.
That okay, yeah, that I follow now. It doesn't refer to the true you. Yeah, yeah.
Because you, the true you, is that which perceives the thought.
And really can't be accurately referred to by thought. It
Yeah,
can't be contained in. Yeah, yeah.
you
Okay.
cannot. How could something which is perceived know anything about that which perceives it? How can a thought, which is perceived, right? How can a thought which is perceived know anything or have any information or carry any information, any, about that which perceives it? Not possible. The thought is an object perceived. They're they're like sounds, you know. A thought is like a disharmonious musical sound. It's just a vibration. They're waves, right? Sound waves. That's what a sound is. It's sound waves with, the crystal in the inner ear sort of gets triggered, and then there is the auditory nerve that sends signals to the brain, and there are some synaptic activities in the brain. That's what a sound is. They're dancing molecules and atoms. And there is an interpretation. There is an interpretation. In other words, there are channels of activities, certain uh, 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 highways in the brain that get triggered, and that's what we refer to as a thought. We can measure, we can put a instrument around the brain and observe people's thoughts, a thought, which is sort of a certain synaptic activity in the brain. In other words, there isn't a reality called a thought. Oh, this is the strawberry thought. This is the thought of the retreat thought. This is, no, it's all sort of music. They're like musical notes. You see, they appear to you, but you don't appear. The reality which perceives is not a mental activity. That's important to understand. The reality which perceived is not a brain activity. Brain activity is a correspondence between activities of the body, brain activity, perceptions. There is a correspondence between the world and the brain. But it is not the brain which generates anything or perceives anything. There is a correspondence. That which perceives and that which is I. And that is not a brain activity. Brain activity is perceived. You can measure it. With sophisticated equipment, we can measure brain activity. So it's important to understand that the reality which perceives brain activity or which perceives a thought is not a thought, is not a brain activity. Anyways, maybe I'm just covering too much. Coming back to time, I think that's good enough for now with time. In terms of synchronicity, now, when your mind is encumbered with a lot of thoughts and concerns, and you have a lot of meetings to attend to, you've got a busy schedule, you're not that available, right? I mean, if I want to come and whisper something in your ear or tell you something, you're gonna hear me, and then you're gonna go a second later. Oh, what was that you said, Magdi? What was that you said? You know what I mean? It's like, what was that you said? I wasn't available. So, as a personal self, as a me, we're not available. we are very busy with our identity, protecting it, worrying about it, defending it, justifying it, planning for it, making sure it's going to live forever, whatever. As a separate entity, the bases are loaded. So when a message comes to us from the universe, because all the messages come from the universe via different modalities, but the source is the universe, the cosmos, the whole. When a message comes to us and the bases are loaded, we don't receive the message, right? The bases are loaded. So in order for synchronicity, you need to have unloaded bases. You have to empty the bases. So as you free yourself more and more from the notion, the belief that I'm Rishi, I'm the body, I'm Shelly's son, I went on a retreat yesterday, I'm doing this. You free yourself from the story line about what you are. And you discriminate, viveka, discriminate between body-mind activity, world body-mind activity, and I. As you are in consciousness. As that whole thing thins out, sorry, I don't know if it's important. Let me see. Hello, Tara. Is it important? I mean, satsang. Okay, bye. So that's
Tell her I said hi.
You have to answer the wife.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah. So when there is an availability, then there is synchronicity. The consciousness is seamless, has no borders. It's always because there's no borders. It's everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. You know what I mean? So everything is available. Everything is available to you as consciousness. And although the body-mind has its limitations, as consciousness, it's as if you receive cosmic messages that are sort of emanating in the universe, these cosmic messages. Like, for example, sometimes you would tell your mom, "Oh wow, it'd be nice to go to this museum," and she'll tell you, "Wow, I was just thinking I'm going to go. I'd like to go to a museum or something like that." How is this happening? Because both of your antennas, let's say, were sort of available for the cosmic message. Message, not like a message, a cosmic dance. And, it's not like there was anything special to your brain or one's brain. No, it's just that there was a moment of availability. And synchronicity is very interesting because there are common experiences between human beings, but it's interpreted. The interpretation is a false interpretation. Sometimes you interpret the synchronicity as, "Oh wow, there was something exceptional, or there was something special about the two of us." There's nothing special about the two of us. We're just like any other others. So the interpretation is is a wrong interpretation. The correct interpretation is that because we're not separate from the cosmic field. We're not separate from universal vibration. We're not separate from the universal wave. And so, as one, that it's all available to us. We are that. We are that. It's beyond words, because beyond word meaning beyond mind, because the mind isn't capable to comprehend the vastness. The only time it gets close to comprehending the vastness is when it collapses into stillness, into silence, into the silence of presence. But then the mind arises again out of that silence to make a commentary. It wants to make a commentary, because the mind is commentaries. It's just a series of commentaries. It's a, encyclopedias, and it fills a library. I mean, the biggest libraries in the world. It's constantly printing, narratives and this and that. That's that. The mind is activity. The mind is consciousness in motion. There's no problem with the mind. It's no problem. Very good. The issue is the unhappiness. The unhappiness. Why is there unhappiness? The unhappiness is not because of mind. No, the unhappiness is because of belief of being separate. You see, belief that I'm a body mind, that I'm a person, I'm a certain personality. But personality belongs to the body. And of course, like my car, my car is red and I shine it and so on. And then I look, I would like to buy this Beamer instead, but hey, heck, that's what I'm driving now. It has a personality. The car has a personality, you could say. Color, shape, some of the lights, whatever they do, things like that. But that's the car, you see, that's the body. So the body mind has a personality, which is fine. It's beautiful. It's it's part of the joy of being humans and relating with each other and celebrating. Anyways, I'm speaking too much. That's as much as I can say about serendipity, but the more you, the less you are identified, you will find that it's very common. Serendipitous experiences, all very common, all the time.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
That was awesome.
Okay.